Did you remember me from 20 years ago? But he was on crutches pouring coffee. It's the same experience, more or less. Yeah. The Academy continued.
Minutes ago, Mel Gibson said something big about Oprah Winfrey, telling everyone she has a secret plan that could ruin her good image. In a world where one small mistake can end someone's career, Gibson's bravery to speak up is really noticeable. He claims that Oprah, a big name in TV, is up to something sneaky. Gibson, who often causes a stir, might start a huge argument with this new claim. Tune in to find out if he's going to reveal big secrets or just cause more trouble. Before we get into this, get ready because what's coming is a lot bigger than you think. The silent strategy. Gibson's accusations are serious. He's connected Oprah to the well-known Weinstein scandal, hinting that her silence during the entire situation was not accidental. He suggests that her quietness was deliberate, protecting powerful people and keeping things in Hollywood the way they've always been. Think back to the Me Too movement, which exposed many cases of abuse by influential figures in the industry. It started in October 15th, 2017, when actress Alyssa Milano tweeted that any woman who had experienced sexual misconduct or assault should post Me Too as their status. This simple idea from Milano, sparked by a suggestion from a friend, grew into a massive movement. Gibson's big claim might start revealing more secrets, shaking up Hollywood more than ever before. It wasn't long before big-name celebrities like Gwyneth Paltrow, Jennifer Lawrence, and Uma Thurman shared their own painful stories, adding their voices to the Me Too movement. This movement gained a lot of media attention and sparked nationwide conversations about sexual misconduct, particularly in Hollywood. The consequences were far-reaching, leading to the public downfall of several prominent figures. But here's where it gets interesting. Many wondered why Oprah, someone so deeply involved in Hollywood, wasn't more outspoken about it. But that's not the worst part. One of the most vocal survivors was Rose McGowan, who, back in 1997, accused Harvey Weinstein of assaulting her. What happened afterward was shocking. Instead of helping her, McGowan's own manager arranged for a hush money payment of $100,000 and then went on to work at Weinstein's company, Miramax. McGowan shared with the New York Times that although she wasn't legally gagged, her career took a massive hit. She turned to independent films and eventually left the industry, heartbroken by the lack of support. Another brave voice came from actress Reese Witherspoon. At an event for Elle's Women in Hollywood, she revealed that she had been assaulted by a film director when she was only 16. To make matters worse, her agents and colleagues told her to stay quiet if she wanted to continue having career opportunities, essentially saying that silence was necessary for success. Unfortunately, this was not an isolated incident for Witherspoon, making her story even more heartbreaking. Selma Blair, best known for her role in Cruel Intentions, also spoke up as part of the Me Too movement. She recalled a disturbing experience with director James Toback, who asked her to perform a monologue while naked during a meeting in his hotel room. When she refused, he tried to force her into inappropriate acts and later threatened her, saying he would kill her if she ever told anyone. Blair was so terrified that she only confided in her boyfriend at the time, too scared to speak out. However, she eventually came forward after hearing similar stories from other women about Toback. As these stories surfaced, the spotlight shifted toward Oprah Winfrey, once known as the Queen of Talk Shows and praised for her compassionate interviews. But recently, her reputation has started to change. If you search her name on social media now, you'll find countless posts and videos criticizing her, suggesting that public opinion may be turning against her. This isn't just about Oprah, though. These incidents shine a light on the bigger issue of power dynamics in Hollywood. The actions of powerful people, whether they're protecting misconduct or speaking out against it, are under more scrutiny than ever before. What might have once seemed like isolated incidents are now painting a picture of deep-rooted problems in the entertainment industry. Figures like Oprah, who were once untouchable, are now part of a growing conversation about accountability and change. Oprah Winfrey has found herself under scrutiny for her connections with controversial figures like Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein. While Mel Gibson hasn't directly called her out as part of the group of deceitful individuals in Hollywood, many believe he is implying that she is part of this powerful circle. One of the biggest reasons people are questioning Oprah is her long-standing friendship with Harvey Weinstein. Even though Weinstein's behavior was widely known, Oprah continued to support him through both good and bad times. There are even rumors that she encouraged other actors to work with him, raising questions about her judgment. How could someone with such influence stand by him for so long? This leaves many wondering if Oprah's public image hides a more complicated reality. On the outside, Oprah seems to be a caring and generous person. But more and more people are starting to wonder if she's involved in questionable activities with other powerful individuals. What happened to the Oprah that people loved and trusted? Was she always part of these questionable circles, or has she recently been pulled in by the wrong crowd? This isn't just about Oprah. Many other well-known celebrities are also coming under the spotlight. Some celebrities have even started criticizing Oprah publicly. Singer Seal, for instance, pointed out that Oprah must have known about Weinstein's behavior long before it became public. In 2018, he posted on Instagram, suggesting that Oprah was aware of Weinstein's inappropriate actions with young women, but chose to stay quiet. He also shared a meme that accused Oprah of pretending to be part of the solution while having been part of the problem all along. Seal's comments reflect growing frustration with Oprah's delayed response to the Weinstein scandal, leaving people to wonder if she was really unaware or just acting that way. But this wasn't the worst part. In 2017, Oprah posted on Facebook admitting how hard it was to confront the accusations against Weinstein. She talked about the difficulty of putting into words just how serious his actions were. However, she continued to face criticism, not just from Seal. In 2021, an old interview with country singer Dolly Parton resurfaced, where Oprah had asked Dolly uncomfortable questions about her plastic surgery, making people question Oprah's interview style and intentions. Adding to this, actress Rose McGowan, a key figure in the #MeToo movement, took to Twitter to criticize Oprah for being associated with Weinstein and for backing out of a documentary about the women who accused Russell Simmons of misconduct. McGowan didn't hold back, accusing Oprah of being more focused on maintaining her popularity and influence than on standing up for victims of abuse. She even expressed relief that more people were starting to see what she considered the unpleasant truth about Oprah. In her since-deleted tweet, McGowan accused Oprah of being fake and supporting a system that protected the powerful while ignoring victims, all to benefit her own image. But here's the irony. Oprah, who has been a strong advocate for women's rights, now finds herself wrapped up in these scandals, with people accusing her of hypocrisy. While she has publicly supported women, her close ties to Weinstein and other controversial figures paint a different picture. Not long after the Weinstein scandal, Oprah was linked to another troubling figure, João Teixeira de Faria, known as John of God, a Brazilian spiritual healer. Oprah featured John of God on her show in 2010 and even traveled to Brazil in 2012 to meet him, claiming to feel a deep connection with him. Her endorsement helped raise his profile significantly. However, John of God was later revealed to be a predator who abused many women under the guise of healing. After Oprah's show, many women came forward sharing how they had been victimized by him. One woman who had been introduced to John of God through a friend and had seen Oprah's documentary shared her horrifying experience in the New York Times. What happened to John of God? In 2018, he was arrested for his crimes and is now serving house arrest. This is yet another controversy that casts a shadow over Oprah's legacy, raising questions about how someone so connected to women's rights could have been tied to figures like Weinstein and John of God. As more people come forward with these stories, the once perfect image of Oprah seems to be fading, forcing people to reconsider the woman they once held in such high regard. Now let's see how individual choices start facing the consequences. A century in chains. João Teixeira de Faria received a sentence of 118 years and 6 months in prison for his serious wrongdoings. The court found him guilty of many acts of misconduct, including exploiting vulnerable people. His past was already full of legal troubles, and he had been convicted of other crimes before. On top of this long sentence, the judge ordered him to pay his victims a total of $20,500. This severe punishment reflects the seriousness of his actions, and considering the evidence, it was expected. Oprah Winfrey's image has taken a hit because of her connections with controversial figures like Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, and John of God. Many of her fans are now left wondering why she associated herself with such individuals. It is reassuring to see that powerful people who once seemed untouchable are finally facing consequences. However, Oprah's support of John of God, which included giving him a platform and credibility, is now being questioned. By promoting him, she unknowingly helped raise his profile, which led to him gaining more notoriety. This has left people confused and worried about her judgment in endorsing him. Although Oprah has tried to repair the damage to her reputation by standing with the women who were harmed by John of God, her public image has still suffered. People now find it hard to trust her, especially since her name has been linked to other scandals, including the incidents at her school in South Africa. Back in 2007, Oprah established a leadership academy for girls in South Africa after talking to Nelson Mandela about the country's poverty. The school cost $46 million and had the best facilities money could buy. but not long after, the school became the center of multiple disturbing incidents. In 2009, reports emerged of students being suspended for bullying, and some were involved in inappropriate activities with others. Then, in 2011, a baby was shockingly found in a student's bag, revealing that a 17-year-old girl had given birth at the school. Even more troubling, a staff member was found to have had inappropriate relationships with students. Despite Oprah's efforts to clear her name and manage these situations, these events showed that her academy had ongoing problems. But this wasn't the worst part. These incidents only added to the perception that billionaires like Oprah often try to hide the truth when things go wrong. It's no surprise that powerful people sometimes work to cover up damaging information, especially when the stakes are high, as we've seen in similar situations like those portrayed in the film Sound of Freedom. So why do people like Oprah seem to avoid facing the consequences for their questionable actions? Hollywood, like many industries, has long struggled with issues of power, bullying, and intimidation. Those with power often protect themselves, and speaking out against them can lead to ruin both personally and professionally. The scandal surrounding Harvey Weinstein is just one example of how deep these problems go. For decades, Hollywood has been plagued by sexism, exploitation, and a culture of silence, often enforced through non-disclosure agreements that prevent victims from speaking out. This group of influential people often has strong ties to politicians and other key figures, creating a protective network. Criticizing someone within this circle can be risky, as they use legal tools like non-disclosure agreements to keep their secrets hidden. In 2017, the public got a rare glimpse into just how bad things were within the American entertainment industry. For many years, the entertainment business has been known for violence and exploitation, and these problems have harmed not just women but also children. Many former child stars have shared heartbreaking stories of exploitation and abuse, revealing a darker side of Hollywood. In these stories, powerful figures like directors and producers have taken advantage of vulnerable children, often with little or no consequences. Some parents, either for fame or out of ignorance, have allowed their children to be exploited. The industry's obsession with youth and beauty creates a harmful environment for young actors and actresses. There have been many cases of child exploitation, and a few examples include Judy Garland, Corey Haim, Shirley Temple, and Todd Bridges. These are just some of the child actors who suffered while working in Hollywood. Unfortunately, the problem is likely even more widespread, as many victims are too afraid or ashamed to speak out. Recently, Puff Daddy has been named in several lawsuits accusing him of trafficking and abuse, and federal authorities even raided his properties. The claims against him include hosting inappropriate parties with minors, while others in the industry turned a blind eye for personal gain. Though Puff Daddy denies these allegations, his recent actions raise concerns. The entertainment industry is deeply flawed, and figures like Mel Gibson know the extent of the corruption. That's one reason Gibson has supported films like Sound of Freedom, which aim to expose these troubling issues. But before we discuss Gibson's views on Oprah, it's important to understand his background. Born in Peekskill, New York in 1956, he moved to Australia at age 12. His early life in Australia shaped his acting career, and after gaining fame with Mad Max, he became a major figure in Hollywood, starring in films like Lethal Weapon and Gallipoli. Gibson's willingness to speak out about Hollywood's issues makes him one of the few actors who challenge the industry's dark side. Next, we dive deeper into Mel Gibson's intense journey, where fame comes at a cost. The evolution of Mel Gibson. Over the next 10 years, Mel Gibson's fame grew quickly as he starred in several well-known movies like The Bounty in 1984, Tequila Sunrise in 1988, and Maverick in 1994. These roles not only made him more visible in Hollywood, but also allowed him to take on different types of characters. With his growing fame came bigger ambitions. Gibson didn't just want to act anymore, he wanted to direct. In 1993, he directed his first movie, The Man Without a Face, a story about a man with a disfigured face who becomes friends with a young boy. Even though the movie got mixed reviews, it was clear that Gibson had the talent to succeed behind the camera. His desire to direct would only grow from there, and just 2 years later, he would take on a project that would change his career forever. In 1995, Gibson directed and starred in Braveheart, an epic movie about the Scottish warrior William Wallace. For Gibson, this movie was a personal project, one he poured his heart into. Braveheart wasn't just about showing his acting skills, it was a chance to prove himself as a director. The movie was full of intense battle scenes and deep emotional moments, all centered around the fight for Scottish independence. It was a huge hit at the box office, and with critics winning 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director for Gibson. His portrayal of Wallace, with his face painted and shouting freedom, became iconic, and the movie solidified Gibson as one of Hollywood's top talents who could deliver both artistic and popular success. However, this high point in Gibson's career also brought some criticism. While Braveheart was praised for its storytelling and action, many historians were quick to point out that the movie wasn't historically accurate. They argued that Gibson took too many liberties with the facts, and that the real story of William Wallace and Scotland's fight for independence was quite different. Even though the movie was criticized for these inaccuracies, it still captured audiences with its powerful scenes and emotional depth. It remains one of the standout films of the 1990s despite its flaws. But this wasn't the worst part. As Gibson's career was thriving, his personal life started to fall apart. His strong religious beliefs, influenced by his father's conservative Catholic views, often clashed with Hollywood's more liberal culture. Gibson's outspoken views on Hollywood's negative impact led some to call him a hypocrite, since he was a big part of the industry. On top of that, his temper and erratic behavior started making headlines, and many found him difficult to work with. By the late 1990s, Gibson's public image took a further hit when his struggles with alcohol became known. This was a major problem for him, but despite it, he continued to work. In 2004, he directed The Passion of the Christ, a movie that focused on the final hours of Jesus Christ's life. The film was a huge financial success, earning over $600 million worldwide, but it wasn't without controversy. Many people criticized the film's portrayal of Jewish characters, and Gibson faced accusations of anti-Semitism, something that would follow him for years. Even with all the controversy, it's hard to deny Gibson's impact on the world of film. He has left a lasting mark as both an actor and a director, even if his personal views and actions have caused some people to distance themselves from him. As a filmmaker, he has shown the ability to tell powerful, emotional stories that connect with audiences around the world. Gibson's journey through Hollywood has been filled with incredible successes and deep failures, reflecting both the highs and lows of fame. By the mid-2000s, Gibson's personal problems were overshadowing his professional achievements. In 2006, he was arrested for driving under the influence, and during the arrest, he made anti-Semitic remarks that shocked the public and led to widespread backlash. This incident severely damaged his reputation in Hollywood, and many studios cut ties with him. Around the same time, his marriage to Robin Moore, which had produced 7 children, ended in divorce. Following that, a messy custody battle with Oksana Grigorieva further hurt his public image. Leaked recordings of Gibson making racist and misogynistic comments during arguments with Grigorieva worsened his situation. But that wasn't the end of his story. Despite all the setbacks, Hollywood loves a comeback, and Gibson began rebuilding his career. In 2016, he directed Hacksaw Ridge, a movie about a World War II soldier who refused to carry a weapon. The film was a success with both critics and audiences, earning Gibson an Academy Award nomination for Best Director. It showed that despite his troubled past, he still had the talent to create meaningful and impactful films, but his past controversies continued to follow him, making some people question whether he deserved another chance. Still, Hacksaw Ridge proved that Gibson was capable of making significant films that resonated with viewers. While he might never fully escape the shadow of his past, this moment in his career demonstrated that he could still be a major force in Hollywood. Gibson's career is a story of remarkable highs and troubling lows. His work in films like Mad Max, Braveheart, and Hacksaw Ridge has secured his place in film history. However, his personal struggles and controversial opinions have complicated his legacy. Some people see him as a gifted artist who made serious mistakes, while others believe his actions will always define him. Either way, Gibson's life story remains one of the most fascinating in Hollywood, filled with triumphs, challenges, and lessons about the cost of fame. Thank you for watching. Do you think Mel Gibson's artistic achievements can ever fully overshadow his past controversies? Like, comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more discussions.